Hey everybody, it's Jerry from Bullshit Corner, and welcome to another Jeep video. You've been obviously, a lot of you guys have been following along and see how the project's gone. So, we got the lift kit in, the engine's in. If you haven't seen those videos, feel free to check them out. Just go to my channel. My channel's all separated into different areas of bullshit. That's why it's called Bullshit Corner, and you're going to find these videos in the Jeep TJ project. So anyways, I had the wheel alignment done today, but on my way to get the wheel alignment done, I noticed I developed what I dreaded, which you would call the death wobble. But my death wobble is not as severe as most people that when you're driving they hit a bump and all the fucking steering wheel jumps out of their hands. Mine is more of a mini wobble, is that I hit a bump and it starts shaking. If I don't slow down, it gradually gets worse and worse. So not like the holy shit I'm gonna fucking die death wobble that some people experience. So basically, in this video, we're going to go through and we're going to check and see if we can diagnose the problem. There's a whole bunch of things that can lead to it. I talked to the wheel alignment guy today, and he said things like wheel balancing can lead to it, tire pressures, U-joints. You can look at, obviously, the most things if you have any parts of your vehicle that's loose that when you did the lift kit, like your control arms, your track bar, those things, especially if your bushings are worn, because when the suspension is lifted, it's like way higher. So since you got a solid axle, it just kind of floats there. So your control arms and everything else, once they're super tight, help keep everything stiff. So if something's loose in the steering or whatever, it causes a little bit of play, and it's going to be enough to start fucking making your truck shimmy and shake and everything else. And obviously, the faster you go, you're going to notice it more, usually around 55-60 mile an hour range. We're going to go through, and we're going to go through a lot of the simple checks and double check everything in the lift kit, and just to see if we can come up with something, and hopefully we can fix it. Like I said, mine's not that severe. This is a high mileage Jeep as well. It's got 272,000 kilometers. It is very well possible that the steering components could be a little bit worn. The alignment guy didn't say anything about that. He said everything was looking good. So basically, one of the most overlooked problems is the wheel bearings. Is also one of the most expensive. There's a little bit of play in there that could cause it. But we're going to start, first off, we're going to start by checking the tightness of the control arms, because when I bought the Jeep, actually wait a second, when I did buy the Jeep, he did complain there was a vibration too at about 100 kilometers an hour. So maybe there is something in the steering that's worn. So I'm going to lower the camera down, I'm going to set the camera up, and I'm going to dry steer it and see if there's anything loose. So let's try that. And make sure there's no play in the wheel bearing at all, because that could cause the death wobble as well. So grab it, see if you can push it in forward, grab it from the top, so you can grab any play up there, left and right. Even when I wiggle my suspension, there's nothing loose. So now we're going to flip the other side and do it. But I'm not going to show that on camera. I want to show you guys this as well. If you want to properly check for ball joint movement, lift it about 2 inches off the ground, put a bar underneath. And if your ball joints are bad, you should be able to feel it. I'm not really feeling any play in there at all. So I went through pretty much everything I need to check. Wheels, ball joints on both sides. There doesn't seem to be any play in the bearings or the ball joints. Track arm's been rebuilt. New bushings. It's tight. I'm going to double check it. All my suspension's tight. New steering dampener. So basically, when you're dealing with a Jeep, and I'm going to say this for Jeep, you can beat it like a dead horse all you want. An alignment is not going to fix a wobble. A wobble is play in one or more of the steering components. So far mine seems tight. I have to review the footage and see it on a bigger screen instead of the camera screen, but your control arms, upper bolts, lower bolts, if your bushings are worn, that's a definite sign on both sides. Your track arm is usually the most culprit, because usually death wobble always happen after you hit a bump. So I'm just going to go through and check a few more things, and I'm not sure what the deal is. So now to recap, we went through everything, we checked everything back over. Ball joints are good, U-joints in the axle are good. You can easily check your U-joints in your axle by, when your vehicle's in park, or you can just easily roll your tires front and back and see if there's any like movement in your ball joints. Checked control arms. We double checked the steering. Like I said, the alignment guy said the steering was good. There's no play. But we did find that the lower track bar mount, it had about a 1/4 inch to tighten it up, and then the upper track bar mount, I got about a turn and a half out of the nut. That might help, that may not help. The rear track bar, the upper mount was extremely loose, so that might contribute to the problem. But anyways, I'm going to take it out for a rip, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to diagnose whether or not it's still there or not. And if it isn't, maybe post some replies on possibilities, what else can I check. And yeah, so I'll be back in about 5 minutes. For you guys, it's going to be a few seconds. Anyways, I'm back. I went out for a rip, probably about 10 kilometers or so. Had a little bit of a mishap when I first started going, that I got up to like 80-90 kilometers an hour. The front end started shaking. Then I took my foot off the gas and it quit. And then I started going again, and it felt like it was going to start shaking at the same speed, so I fucking tried hammering on the gas, and then it went away. And then I drove at a higher speed for pretty much the rest of the whole trip and tried at different speeds. But at one speed, right around 55, 60, it wants to shake, but after that it pulls through. So I guess in kilometers an hour, probably be around 90, 95 kilometers an hour in that area. Jeep wants to start shaking, but anything below, anything above, it's fine. I do think I need rear U-joints, so I could feel vibration in the back. So I'm going to check those out. But I'm going to leave the video at that. If anybody else has any other questions or comments or concerns, post them below. I try to go over some of the main points for troubleshooting a Death Wobble or DW, whatever the hell you want to call it. Mine wasn't a severe one. Mine was just called like a mini wobble. Not like shit my pants, I'm gonna fucking die. So anyways, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna leave the video at this, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching.